Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I am here. Took a little while to do the introduction, but I am here. I'm all set up as you saw, sharing my space with another vendor who sells amazing pottery. Looks very nice. And yeah, I don't know how many check-ins I'm gonna do because, like I said, I don't like to invade other people's spaces. So I'm gonna try my best to check in. But it is 10:48. The market has been going on for 48 minutes now, and it's a lot of vendors here. It's a good amount of vendors here. I am not in the same spot. As you see, there's dumpsters behind me. I am actually closer to the cul-de-sac. So there's a cul-de-sac here, and actually, let me lower this. There we go. So I didn't show it before, but there's like a cul-de-sac that goes around. So I am at the tip end as opposed to when I was over there on the other side. So still close to the restroom in case I need it, because I brought water as always with me, and I actually made a sandwich and brought it with me so I don't end up with a headache or anything halfway through the day. But everything's set up. I did forget my emailing list, my signs today, and I was supposed to put it in this crate here and completely forgot. Completely forgot. But everything's set up, ready to go. I don't know how this setup is going to go because I am sideways into the space. So I'm hoping that people see it as they come down the street and interact with it. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that is it for the check-in. Sorry I didn't do a complete intro earlier. I was just trying to get here on time, which I didn't get here on time, but we'll talk about it in the recap. But that is it for this intro and the check-in. Yeah, I think today is the day I should have bought some wax samples because I don't think I'm going to do good today with the way my table's set up. So the one day I don't bring samples, yeah, but we'll see because it's still early in the day, so we'll see. And I'm showing all my gray hairs today. So there's no headband. No headband. But yeah, we will see how it goes. I feel like there's more people down there at the beginning of the market that hasn't come this way. So it's a little like empty over here, but they're making their way down. So we'll see. I have to try and figure out a way to like get people to my table because I'm not at the forefront. I'm on the side. So if I can, I'll insert a picture to show you all how the setup is under here. But I feel like I should have just laid my table across. I don't know, but it is what it is, like I always say. So, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, so this is where I'm at. I'm on the cul-de-sac here, and there's not really many people down here in our section, but it's not even 12 o'clock yet, so give it time. The mornings are always the slowest, so give it time. It's a little chilly out here, but it's nice. It's not humid. So, but that is what it looks like over here. Not much going on over here. And then if I turn it the other way, not much going on over here. So, that's the view of the market where I'm at. All right, everyone. So, welcome back for the recap of this market that I just did. This will probably be a very short recap because you'll find out why. But I did a market on October 4th. I'm recording this probably about 2 weeks later. And it was me returning back to Old Stone Market, the one I did all the way back in May. That one was very successful. I really enjoyed it. So I figured I would sign up again to do it in the fall because the community that I'm a part of, they ended up partnering with, well, they're already a partner with Brooklyn Museum, and this is one of their markets. So I figured I'd sign up again, and I ended up getting picked for this one. All right, so before we hop into what happened the day of the market, let me give a quick rundown of what happened before. So I ended up, like I said, signing up for this market here. I had done it before in May for the first time, so this was going to be my second time doing it. And I signed up for it through my community that I'm a part of here in New York City. And it was for a full space. So when I signed up for the full space, and I also signed up to rent a table from them. And I was going to bring my tent, which I really didn't want to, and I was going to bring a chair with me, and I was going to rent the table from them. And everything was fine. Everything was all set. I've sent in my application, and then a couple of weeks later, I was accepted. Now, once I got accepted, I was just waiting for the invoice so I could go ahead and pay. But before then, I and other vendors received the email from the lady that was handling the email communications asking if we were willing to share a space with another member from the community. That way, we can have more members represented at this event. So, me, I rarely turn down taking that opportunity to share with someone else because I don't want to be the one who like blocks another small business or a handmade person from having their opportunity at a market. So I said, sure, I will share a space. And a couple of other vendors also said they would share a space. Now, fast forward and the months before the market, and we're getting like probably about two or three more emails, and I'm asking how the setup would be, and are you sure we're gonna be able to rent tables, because I know with this organization with Brooklyn pop up, they don't really rent out tables when it's outside near parks, and that's where this market takes place. So she assured me that yes, they're going to rent the tables, they're going to have tables for us to rent, everything will be fine. And then I asked her if I can be paired with someone who has a tent because of my products. My products tend to melt in the sun. I didn't know what the degrees was going to be like that day. So I wanted to make sure everything was protected, at least overhead wise. Long story short, she ended up pairing me with someone who has a tent, and I said, great. So I didn't have all that heavy stuff to bring down, and I didn't have to go to my storage unit to gather stuff. Well, it was probably about, don't like quote me or anything, but I want to say it was about a week before the event. And we get an email again stating that Brooklyn Pop Up will not be supplying us with a table and something. I have the email somewhere, or not, sorry, not that they weren't going to supply it, that it was going to be extra money to rent if they can get the tables there. So we got the email, and she pretty much made the decision for us of not having the tables rented at all, and that we would have to find a way to bring our own table. Well, a couple of vendors, they were coming by subway. As you all know, I tend to take a Uber to all these markets. So it caused somewhat of a big mess. And long story short on that one, we ended up going ahead and changing her mind because we all really wanted to just rent a table. I mean, nobody wants to carry everything if they could just rent it for a cheaper price. So we ended up telling her that we would really like the tables, and she talked to them, and then they decided to leave everything as is. They were going to supply us with the tables, and we're like, thank God. So communications wise, it was a little bit shaky and all over the place, but we managed to get everything together for the day of the market. Now, what was different this time as opposed to last time is that my community ended up setting up slots that we had to be there to set up for. And mine's was at, I think mine's was at 8 o'clock. It was at 8 o'clock. But I knew the market started at 10. The market went from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. that day. And I knew I would be set up no problem before the market started. So I arrived at 8:30 that morning. And when I arrived, my vendor booth partner, she was already there and she was already set up. Now, she had communicated to me through DMs on Instagram, introducing herself and telling me what she was going to bring that day. She bought a 4-foot table. So I ended up getting a 6-foot table, and we really had to try and figure out how we were going to put this into the space because she was already set up in the corner of the front on the right side, and I had the left side. So I couldn't really spread my table out because we have a designated space. So I had to put it like going this way into the tent space and set up that way. So I had to really alternate how I was going to set up my table, as you all saw, and also advertise that, hey, I'm here and I'm not just a part of her business. There's two businesses under here. And when I got there, I was right next to um, another vendor that I met at Governor's Island, and we actually spent the most of the time just talking to each other because we were that close to each other. But her and her vendor booth partner, they also set up parallel so that people can walk in. And I kind of thought that's what we were going to do. That way people can walk into the tent and see both sides. But I just left it as is. I left my table parallel heading out this way, and she had hers this way. Um, I was playing in my mind all these ways that we could have set it up, but because she had was already set up when I got there, I wasn't about to tell her to start moving anything. Even though she offered, I had said no, this should be fine. So as far as the weather goes that day, it was a nice sunny day. It was a light breeze going, so we really didn't have to worry about any type of wind or anything. I bought my jacket that morning because it was cooler, but as the day went on, it got even hotter. And I think we ended up reaching probably about, I want to say 75, 80 degrees that day. So, um, me having the tent, it helped the candles a little bit, but some of the candles did end up melting. This time around, where I was on the cul-de-sac part of it, so I was right at the tip where it first starts. And I noticed that unlike last time, the people really weren't coming down this way where we were. So it was very scarce with people in the cul-de-sac area. But when I went to go visit other vendors, I noticed that all the people were up there and it was like bottlenecked up there and they were visiting the vendors there. I did notice that the crowd this time was not nearly as full as last time. I want to say it was about half of the people or a little less than half of the people that came last time came this time here. So I ended up getting my first sale probably around 11:10 that morning, and then my second sale didn't come until 12:20. And what I didn't like about the setup for this market here, and yeah, next time I definitely will speak up because now that I'm gaining more confidence in doing these markets, I see myself speaking up more for not only myself but for my business as well. So, what I didn't like about the setup for this one is I felt like an afterthought with the way my table was set up because anyone that came to the tent area, they went directly to my vendor booth partners setup. And I got a lot of, oh wait, there's two vendors here, there's two businesses here. And it's like, yeah, hi, me over here. So, um, and I tried to stand in different spaces. I tried to stand on the outside of the tent and stand behind my table in hopes that people would like see it. And it kind of worked for some of the sales that I did get that day. I tried to stand in front of the tent like I usually do when I'm at markets. I'll go out and I'll stand for a while. And I think the other thing that didn't help me that day was I didn't have any free wax melt samples that day. I put it off for so long. And also, I'm looking to try a new tart wax. So that's kind of why I didn't make a new batch here, which I think I should start testing that wax out now. I already have it, it's in my bin back there, but I want to try that one out and move it over to a different wax. And I figured I'm not going to make any more wax samples, and I didn't really need it for that day. Well, I think I should have had it for that day because I could have did what I did at Governor's Island and have the basket out and ask people would they like a free wax sample. So that was on my part for not being prepared in that way and bringing that with me. But the setup, I still feel like if I was more visible in the front, then people would have stopped more at the table and they probably would have purchase more at the table than what they did. She did also have candles there too. So we were two vendors who sold candles because she's not a candle maker. Her friend is the candle maker, and she makes the pottery that goes with his candles. So it just happened that people would go to her table instead of mine's, or they would just bypass mine's completely. So that's one thing that I wish was different, that I was able to set up in the front or even have a smaller table like her, which I kind of thought there would be a variety of tables there, but unfortunately they only had 6 foot tables. So I feel like that was a negative for me in my in the way the day went as far as people seeing me. I thought putting my table runner on the edge instead of putting it where I normally do would help. So yeah, other than that, the foot traffic was not the way it was when I did it in May. It was very scarce. There were people there, but like I said, the people were mainly at the front of the market, and they knew that we were down there because the tents are pretty much lined around the whole cul-de-sac. So they knew that we were there, but they just really didn't come down nearly as much. So I wasn't the only one feeling the effect of low, low foot traffic back there. All right, so now let's get to the sales of the day and how much did I make. So for the sales for this market, I made 7 sales on the day and my profit was $119.58. Now, the vendor fee, I will give you guys that it was $100, and it did cover my vendor fee, but it did not cover my transportation there and back. And luckily for me, because I didn't have to make 2 stops, my transportation for the Ubers was under $40. And I know some of you might say that is still a lot, but here in New York City, to me, that is a deal. There were no bestsellers of the day. I think I sold probably about 2 candles, and I sold 2 reed diffusers. No, I sold 3 reed diffusers, and then the rest was just everything else that was there. So it really was no bestseller for the day. Now, the question is, will I do this market again? And I say yes, I will do this market again. I think I would rather do it in May if they have it there again than in the fall. And they do have another one coming up in December, but it's outdoors. I tend to aim for the markets that are indoors during the winter time because it gets really cold here. They have it in December, but I didn't sign up for that one. I'm actually waiting for them to put out their big market in hopes that I can get picked for that one. And that one's indoors. So just waiting for that email to drop. but yeah, that I would do it again. I would do it only in the springtime. Maybe if they have it in the summer, I would do it in the summer. But I'll definitely sign up for it again. I think you heard all the positives and the negatives. It wasn't what I expected, and I kind of went into it not expecting much, and I was a little disappointed simply because of the communications, and it kind of threw me off. It didn't make me confident in going into this market here. If things tend to go like off the rails for me too much, then it does affect me and how I show up at the market. All right, so that is it for this recap here on this market. I definitely, like I said, will try this market again next year if it's going next year. And I like to give markets at least 3 tries before I completely say no to it. And that's only if I had one good market experience and one bad market experience, because I feel like that kind of evens it out and lets me know if it's a good one and if I should keep going. But that is it. And also, I don't want to forget, I ended up doing a giveaway. As you all know, I put out the video for the giveaway and I did pick the winners. I posted them on both Instagram And if you're not following me on Instagram, then head on over to Lanacia Marie Candles and give me a follow over there. And I also posted it on the community tab here on YouTube, but I'm going to say it here because I want to congratulate the winner, Tip Montgomery. Yes, you won the sample gift basket, and I will be reaching out to you soon to get your information. And then also, I wanted to do a little bonus winner, and LSB Crochet, they ended up winning themselves a basket as well. So, congratulations to the both of you. I enjoyed seeing all the entries. I thought it was going to be like 5 people sign up, but a good amount of people signed up on YouTube and on Instagram. Did a spin wheel and it came up with these 2 winners. So, congratulations to the both of you. Now, I feel like I'm rambling on and on. So, I am, as you all know, I ramble on and on and on. I hope you all enjoyed what you saw, this market video. I know it wasn't a spectacular one and it didn't quite end the way I wanted it to, but I always take something away from every market that I do. So go ahead and hit that like button as well as share and comment down below. And if you haven't already or you are new here, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so that you could be notified when the next new video comes out. Now, I am going to do some brainstorming on some other things for the market. I'll give this little quick update on the fall/winter candles. They are coming along fantastic. And now I have to move on to the phase of giving them names and designing their labels and their packaging that they're going to come in because I'm going to put them up on the website. And as far as the website goes, well, I could talk about the website in another video, but I hope you all enjoy the rest of your week and don't forget to show yourself a little more appreciation. So until next time, this is Tammy saying, take care, everyone.